And welcome back. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be. Oh, maybe you're on your toilet. Maybe you're in your little taking a sponge bath. Maybe you're in the car ride. Thank you for joining in for episode number 123, 123 of the DAAAgenerates podcast. One half of the podcast here. Nick Johnston coming in. We got Bears Packers recap. Yeah, sad Bears fans as always. It is what it is. But we'll also be going over some fun week two recaps, a lot of comebacks, a lot of fun stuff, maybe a little fantasy trickled in. And it's the White Sox last ditch effort to get into the playoffs with a series against the Guardians coming up. I got a last little hoorah, little going thing for that. So we got all that and more coming in, a little bit of wrestling to finish it up. But before all that, let me introduce you to my co host, the other half of the DAAAgenerates podcast, Bill Kralis. Wild Bill, how the hell are you?
Not too bad, as usual, a little fucking bummed out after a tough Bears loss. If the Bears would have lost at like noon on Sunday, you sort of have the rest of Sunday to maybe redeem, that day a little bit, but just staying up, anticipating all day for Sunday night and Carey underpants and Aaron Rodgers still owning us. Losing that game on Sunday night, it's just a fucking kick in the ass. We were all together watching it. It was sucked the air out of that fucking compound real quick last night.
Mike was
There
having
was
fun though.
Yeah, Mike was having fun with Uncle Joe, that was for sure.
That was a
And
highlight.
I'll say it now because I wasn't gonna say it there. I was rooting for the Packers to score a touchdown at the end of the game because I would have hit a nice $200 square, but they didn't. So fuck me. Yeah, it was a tough loss. We were 10-point underdogs going into it. There was a little bit of good, there was a lot of bad. But this team's still learning, and I still believe in the team. I still believe, in this organization and the staff they put together going forward. One loss against a very good Packers team isn't going to derail me like I've already seen a lot of Bears fans doing. Oh, same shit, New Year, season's over. Relax a little bit. It's one loss.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot. Yeah, definitely. We'll just probably just dive in right now. I think there's definitely a lot of bad, not a glaring things that are like, okay, that needs to be figured out right away. But for every little negative thing, I got a little bit of positive to kind of counterbalance it with. So you want to just dive in on your analysis, your takeaway, your notes from it, and then maybe we
Yeah,
can,
sure.
like I said, I
I'll hop
just
right
but
in.
yeah, just go for it.
First and foremost, a lot of people bitching about the fourth and goal, going out of the shotgun, yada yada yada. Justin Fields scored. I mean, there are multiple camera views, multiple pictures of that ball clearly breaking the plane of the end zone. And unfortunately, the call on the field was that he didn't score. And unless you have conclusive evidence, you're not going to be able to overturn that. So he definitely scored on that one. Yeah, you'd like to see him line up under center, sneak it, give it to Montgomery, who was having a great game. Um, Maybe boot it and run it in like he did earlier in the game in the red zone. But the Packers might have been sitting on that. They might have been expecting that if they would have, lined up in the I formation again. Whatever. He fucking scored. So I'm not saying the Bears would have won that game, but it would have been a one possession game with 8 minutes, 9 minutes left on the clock in the fourth quarter. And it's a whole different ball game at that point. So yeah, lining up out of the shotgun, it looks bad, in the eyes of a lot of Bears fans. It's easy to sit there and say, line up out of the I formation and get a fucking yard. Well, according to the pictures and all the shit that we've seen, they did. They got the fucking yard. It was just a bad call in the field. So, um, I think the bright spots was definitely David Montgomery had over 120 yards on the ground. That first drive of the game was picture perfect. 7 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. That is absolutely how you want to start off fucking games. And I don't remember the last time the Bears started off a game with an opening drive touchdown. It's been a long fucking time. So I don't like how they got away from the run game because we saw last week Dalvin Cook had a great day, a great game against the Packers. I think if the Bears would have kept it on the ground a little bit more last night and they would have had a better shot at fucking winning the game because we see what happens when you let Aaron Rodgers and, I say that offense, but it's not even a lot of weapons on that offense. It's fucking Aaron Jones and a bunch of other good players. When you let Aaron Rodgers stand on that field and do what he does best, they're going to put up points. It doesn't matter if it's to Sammy Watkins, to fucking Alan Lazard. I could fucking play tight end for that dude. He'll find a way to make me a good football player. Maybe not anymore, but we had to keep that guy off the field. We didn't do it. We said it last week. You had to find a way to limit fucking Dylan and Aaron Jones. They didn't do that. And just that offense was on the field way too much. You saw the defense was tired. They were struggling. Kyler Gordon, Eddie Jackson, they had pretty disappointing performances after both looking good week one. So um, yeah, I wish we would have stuck to. I wish we would have stuck to the run game a little more because I think you take some more time off the clock, you keep our offense off the field, and maybe that 1 yard touchdown run from Justin Fields gets called, and the Bears are right in that game. So those are sort of my takeaways from it.
Yeah. Certainly, like I said, I think I just wanted to do this just in this way. I wanted to rank the struggles. I got four maybe key ones, and then from there maybe probably sprout other ideas, other talking points, other points of interest that we want to focus on with the Bears defense, offense, etc. And then, like I said, maybe some countering positives just to balance it out. Like I said, don't want to be completely all negative on this game. With for every shitty spot, there was also little glimpses of bright spots, and still, like I said, we're always looking for improvement on future things, especially like I said. So you can tell me prioritize this. I'm gonna list out the four things that I said, and you can from top to bottom, and then we'll go through them. Uh, I had Justin Fields' decision making, just the play calling in general, the defense, and just the idea of being too conservative. Your idea, like I said, what of those four, maybe what's the biggest struggle? What's something we got to focus in on right now? And just
Maybe the Justin Fields decision making.
yeah,
We
I
saw him
mean,
force a
yeah,
couple bad throws. He did have the one interception. Only had 70 yards passing, which is not good. Is
yeah,
absolutely terrible.
it's terrible.
Yeah, you seen the one play where he was 3 or 4 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage and threw the ball, downfield. Had the big game, but obviously it's not going to count. It was on third down, so that's a loss of down. You automatically got to punt the ball. Yeah, just I definitely say his decision making is number one on that list. He forced a couple balls, a couple other balls probably should have been picked that just weren't, and him just holding on to the ball, I feel like a little too long. There were a couple plays last night where he could have checked it down to a running back. He could have thrown it down to a tight end or something in the flat, and he just held it for that extra second or two, and sacked 3 times. One of those, I don't remember where it was in the actual game, but one of those was, I think it was pretty early. He just held on to the ball way too long. He had a guy cutting over the middle, just an underneath route, could have dumped it off, got a couple yards, and he just held on to it. So I definitely say the decision making.
Yeah, you got a couple
Um,
of key points in there on that I have just well, yeah, he didn't have to make a lot of decisions, just getting rid of the ball or just a lack of awareness, being in the pocket while it's collapsing. It's a little concerning. I just don't want the question of is he the guy that question coming up just yet. My counter positive to this was just the offensive line still looked good. It still looked
they
pretty
did.
decent. It was just the idea, like you kind of already made mention to, like we're already like we were just saying, just his decision, his lack of awareness to move, maybe run, just throw it away when you're just getting in there. So he only got sacked 3 times. I mean, compared to like I guess maybe the Bengals or something like that. That's pretty decent. Maybe take one or two of those away if Field just makes the decision to get out of the pocket, maybe run for a couple of yards, maybe the first down or something like that in some sort of instance. Yeah. So I mean, those are just that's something that's like I don't know, like I said, it's a little concerning right now. I'm not gonna put the microscope underneath them just yet because well, it's just simply for the fact that I'm still gonna harp on the idea of there's just no help right now. There's just no I'm Darnell Mooney, like I said, Darnell Mooney being the number one target isn't not a good look. It's not what we want. Another struggling day, one or two targets for Cole Kmet. He's not able to haul in a reception or for anything. Uh, he's getting no benefits, nothing. So yeah, the 7-11 line, 70 yards and an interception doesn't look good. Looks like that would probably be that looks like what would happen in like the first quarter or something like that of a game. Like, oh, that looks pretty decent, but like, yeah, no, that's the whole stat on the game. It's just it looks bad. It looks just pedestrian. But I mean, yeah, that kind of ties into one of the other ones that I had. So I don't know. What was maybe the next one you kind of want to go
You
over?
know, you did mention the defense. I think the defense played all right.
Yeah,
Roquan, Nick Morrow had a great game. Jaquan Brisker, I've been talking this dude up, and I'm so happy I actually made that fucking preseason bet. It's a long shot for him to win Player of the Year, but he has been amazing playing the strong safety position for the Bears. So it's still the young guy we mentioned earlier, Kyler Gordon, he had a rough game. They were targeting him. He missed a couple big tackles, made a couple decent plays in the past game, but he gave up a couple big plays, missed a couple open field tackles that really hurt the Bears. Jalen Johnson hasn't given up a catch this season yet.
that's awesome.
In two games, he is the least targeted cornerback in the league, and he has not given up a single catch all year. Now I don't know if they don't want to throw to him because they think he's that good, or the game plan just doesn't call for throws that side of the field. But the dude hasn't given up a catch all season. So Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker's playing great. Eddie Jackson, he even looked decent, but got burnt a couple times. They were playing that, one high safety look to try and stop the run. And that just sort of leaves Eddie Jackson on an island, alone to cover over everything over top. And he got burned a couple times, but I don't think the defense played terrible. They didn't play terrible. They got to the quarterback. They sacked Rodgers 3 times, which love watching him get sacked. I think who was it? Robert Quinn got a sack. Who else got the fucking sack? Travis Gibson got the
Yeah,
other 2 sacks. So, he's a young player that the Bears sort of were looking. They put a lot of trust in the offseason, getting rid of Khalil Mack and trusting Travis Gibson to sort of fill in that role. He's looked very good. He had 4 tackles yesterday, 2 sacks. So him and Quinn had good days. Always love seeing Rodgers get put on the ground. There's no
yeah,
better feeling. So the defense played okay. The defense played okay. We praised the secondary last week for the amazing game they had. Uh, they had to stop the run. They had to fucking stop the run yesterday. Aaron Rodgers had 234 yards. And a lot of those, receiving yards. He had 38 receiving yards for Aaron Jones. Sammy Watkins had a big day. A lot of that was on the 155-yard catch, which really killed us. But other than that, I think we did a good job of taking away the pass game. But Jones 132 on the ground, Dillon with 61 on the ground. That's not doable. Almost 200 yards to their 2 top players, which we said
yeah.
if they don't take those dudes away, they're gonna kick our ass. They're gonna kill us. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, no, 203 total rushing yards on the ground for the Packers. That's not gonna translate to a W for the Bears in any sort of sense. Yeah, it was one of the Aaron's was gonna beat us, whether it was Aaron Rodgers in the air or Aaron Jones on the ground. It was the latter. It was Aaron Jones just torching us. Yeah, I think he had like at least 130 on the ground, and like you said, another 30 some odd yards through the air, 2 scores. AJ Dillon get another 50 yards on the ground. But I mean, yeah, that was my only like tip to the defense. I mean, it could have been for as bad as the offense was in this game, and there was some, like I said, some pretty bad issues, some glaring issues. 27-10 is like it could have been worse. It could have definitely been worse in a lot of aspects, but uh holding the second half to just 3 points, that was pretty decent. That's you like seeing that. But yeah, just the big problem was, yeah, just 203 yards on the ground. My counter to that, just we were able to also rush on the ground for a lot of yards, 180 yards in total for the Bears. When and then, again, like why did we go away from this when David Montgomery is averaging 8.1 yards per carry? Khalil Herbert, while only got 4 carries, 9.5 yards per carry. I mean, you throw on that, Justin Fields got 20 more rushing yards and the score. He got one official, like you said, and one unofficial. He got 2 scores on the ground in our minds, but 180 yards on the ground for the Bears. Uh, you see that on the other end, you only see 70 yards in the air. We see where we're positive, where the positives are. You see that the offensive line isn't the glaring issue. Maybe the pass blocking. You can maybe I guess that, but it's not that big of a deal when you're only giving up 3 sacks, I suppose. But yeah, that was my counter to that.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
tell just yet if it's, the offensive line pass blocking not giving enough time for routes to develop, or is it just our receivers are so shitty that they can't
It's
get open?
I think it's definitely the receivers.
Yeah, that's
If
what
we
I'm
had
leaning towards.
one if we just simply had one guy, and that would really that would and then that one guy relieves enough pressure for other guys to just barely get enough, maybe just get 1 or 2 more opportunities to get open. And that's exactly that. And then yeah, I don't know if it's just the play calling or if it's the decision making or if it's just the lack of talent right now for Justin Fields. That's why
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to
honestly think
be
that's what it
too
is.
yeah, that's why I don't want to be too harsh and make any rash like takes right now for that reason. If we had a Jamar Chase, for fuck's sake, if we had an Amon-Ra St. Brown on our team, it would make that much of a difference for Justin Fields. But they decided that wasn't in their interest to give Fields any weapons to improve. So this is what we're going to be dealing with for the remainder of the season. It seems I don't want to
Yeah,
be
I
doom and
really
gloom right
wish we were,
away.
AJ and I were talking about this the other day, watching the early games yesterday, talking to her, watching the early games. Really wish the Bears would have went out and traded for either Terry McLaurin or DK Metcalf. They both
Yeah.
got 3-year extensions with their
Hmm.
teams. They both got paid. They're young. I would have happily given up a first round pick for one of those guys who are well established, young, talented wide receivers in this
My
league.
my
Because
only counter and then I was thinking about this while we were losing yesterday. If the Bears do lose and they go throughout this and they get maybe like an upper like 10, like a 10 through 15 spot in their draft pick, if this is trending, if this college is trending what it is, this draft is trending how it is with wide receivers, we can probably find a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a young talent, a Amon St. Brown, like I just said, these guys rattling off. Uh Young, just coming out of college, top tier, they're worth a first round pick type guys. If that is the trend, let's do that. If we don't get a wide receiver in the first round of this draft, I'm going to be very disappointed. That's just my
yeah, if
that's my
if they
early
don't get
thinking
one in
right
the
now.
first round, they better go out and use some of that 130 something million dollars they're gonna have and fucking bring one in free
Yeah,
agency.
without a doubt, without a doubt. My last two concerns, like I said, were the play calling and being too conservative. Which one did you want to maybe touch upon? Maybe
Play
they're
calling, I
more or less
definitely
they're the same. I mean, more or less the same, but I kind of had two counter positives just to make it better. What were we thinking?
Yeah, I'd say the play calling is like I said, the first drive of the game was perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, they marched on the field, mix of run and pass, got it into the end zone. And then they come out and they just go into the shotgun and they bring these guys in motion, which draws attention to them. They throw bubble screens to them behind the line of scrimmage and they don't establish the run early in downs. It's very inconsistent play calling. And like I said earlier, if they would have just stuck on the ground, put the fucking ball in David Montgomery's belly 25 times instead of the 14, 15 that it actually was.
Yeah.
I think the Bears, I'm not saying they would have won, but it would have been a closer game at the end of the game.
Yeah, there's a ton of what ifs. That's the obviously we don't want to live in the world of what if because yeah, it's just not what you want. It's you're just wasting your breath. But yeah, a lot of different things could be happening. A different game script could have been all just could been called in general of just You just let it run, let us run the ball, have the ball more, get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands is what we feel like we've said that not maybe not last week, but we definitely said it before about the Bears versus Packers. Just the Bears or any team trying to beat the Packers, that's going to be the goal. Keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. And yeah, that's just I don't know, getting the three straight 3-and-outs totaling 13 yards of offense. That's disgusting. That's terrible. That's fucking putrid. I mean, like I said, the just being positive on the other end is just we weren't turning the ball over. We only, I mean, just the one interception on the offense, the last play of offense. It is what it is. We fumbled, but we got it back, which brings me to my new segment, or one thing we'll be keeping up with every single week on the DAAAgenerates podcast. Our fat guy of the week goes to defensive tackle Mike Pennell Jr., who recovered the fumble. On the defensive side for the Bears when Aaron Rodgers handed it off to AJ Dillon and he fumbled it. So fat guy of the week goes to Mike Pennell Jr. Congratulations. Anything more on that? I mean, like I said, just second half adjustments, that was good. We only gave up 3 points in the second half. We only scored 3 points in the second half, but in my mind, we could have scored 14. We left a lot of points on the board still. Uh, I'm just trying to think in general. Just like I said, yeah, the play calling, like you already made mention to it again. The 4th and goal call, we already scored. That was a good point. Yeah, just the lack of passing. I don't know what it is. Is again, the question is, do they not just believe in Fields? Was it just a rough day? Was that just the game plan going in? But I don't know. Just we went that entire drive at the end. Did we only ran the ball successfully? No completed passes were made. Uh, so that just kind of goes to show. I mean, we were able to get down there literally to the half-inch mark, and it was successful. But it's not going to be not going to be winning ball games a lot when you're only going 7 for 11 for 70 and an interception.
Yeah.
So, any really closing thoughts? Like I said, us
Yeah,
being
there's two little closing thoughts that I just had. And first one, you sort of mentioned it. The Bears have been smart with the ball. No turnovers. There, the one interception late in the game. Uh, but other than that, no big fucking back-breaking turnovers. They haven't been taking a lot of penalties. Like they haven't been killing drives with penalties. They've just been not, what's the word? Like it goes back to the play calling.
they're
It's
just
been the
not
play calling
capitalizing
that's
on anything. They
exactly.
weren't able to capitalize on the fumble. I think they only got a field goal out of it. Like when they
Yeah,
for sure should have, in my mind, they should have just went for it. They were already down 24 to 10, 24-7. Might as well just fucking go for it. Make it 24-14 or something like that. I mean, I don't know. That's just me being maybe just being the little maybe like video game minded,
yeah,
Madden minded, but yeah, that maybe makes a statement, something like that. It gets the
yeah,
juices flowing, gets the guys
yeah.
going. But
They're not they're not shooting themselves in the foot with bad penalties and bad
which is
turnovers like
good.
they have in previous years, which is definitely good. So I guess that's a positive. And then my only other negative, and this will suck for the fantasy guys out there. It looks like David Montgomery is the only player on this team through 2 weeks that I'd say is even remotely startable.
Yeah.
Everybody else, like you got, I've been high on him, but I'm dropping Cole Kmet this week. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I gave him one more week. I said if he could show me something this week, I'd hold on to him, but it looks like that's it. We thought Darnell Mooney was going to be this decent, his number one go-to target. I might not be dropping Mooney right away. He might just be stashed on the bench or something, but there's no way in hell I'm starting that dude
Yeah.
anytime
No. I
soon.
mean,
It's
to his
Montgomery,
credit,
Montgomery, and nobody else
yeah.
is that's it.
To Mooney's credit, they had I mean, like I said, only attempting 11 passes in the game. That's not gonna translate to a lot of opportunities in any way for him. But yeah, I've already. I mean, you probably already know my opinion on him. It's just I don't think he's as talented for. He shouldn't be a wide receiver number one. It just shouldn't be. And any other
Yeah.
team, he's a slot guy. He's a wide receiver two
He's a
at
good two.
best.
He's a good number two.
Yeah, He's a good compliment to guys, but he's just not the guy. It's just not how it is. It's not how it's going to be. Uh, that basically wrapped it up. I mean, yeah, excuse me, just to fucking keep on stuttering. I would have to completely agree with you. Montgomery is just the only bear you could look at and be like, should I start him? Yeah, I can start him. Otherwise, Mooney, Komet, even Fields right now, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. I know you just in a deep league where maybe you value the quarterback for his rushing and all that and his touchdowns and all that, but you could start him there or like a super flex, something like that. But yeah, Fields, no. Komet, no. Uh,
Yeah.
I would maybe. I mean, I don't want this to happen. Obviously, you want Monty to have a full season, but if he goes down, Khalil Herbert is still feasible. Yes, I would. If you're in a deep six, if you're in like a
Yeah, I
12,
agree.
16 man, if you go out David Montgomery on your team, might as well cuff him with Khalil Herbert. Other than that, yeah, fantasy wise, the Bears are not looking too good. Uh, yeah, that about wrapped it up on me for the Bears and the Packers. Obviously, we'll preview Wednesday. Bears versus geez, who the Bears got?
Texans.
Bears Texans. That ought to be a fucking barn burner. Take the under. We'll see. We'll definitely see on that one. Uh, yeah, like I said, a lot of glaring issues for the Bears. Still a lot of positives. A lot of things to hold your hat and hang your head up high on. But we'll see how it is. Uh, do you have any more on the Bears before we get into our week 2 recap headlines? Anything else? There's a bunch of comebacks, like I said. So, anything else on the
No,
Bears?
that's about it on the Bears. Like you said, some good, still a lot of bad, but still got a lot of faith in this team
Got a
and
lot of season
Eberflus and
left.
Poles and yeah, I agree.
A
So
lot of season left. A lot of
got the
season left.
Texans at home, winnable game. Lovey Smith. The Texans have looked decent first 2 weeks of the season, so I expect that to be, a decent game between two teams you don't expect a lot out of. So I'm also saying that because I'll be at the game, so I don't want it to be
Mm.
six. I don't want it to be 6-3. I'd like a little bit of a fucking entertaining battle there, but yeah, we'll talk about that coming up this Wednesday, episode 124. So
124.
we'll preview that then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alrighty. Tons of things to get into. Like I said, I mean, we had the comebacks. There was some injury. You got Trey Lance on the basically done for the year. I mean, not basically, he is done for the year. Uh Lions are looking good, Giants as well. What do we want to dive in on? I'm feeling these comebacks. How about you? That was
Let's see. Yeah,
exciting.
we could start off with I think the most impressive comeback of the week is
Yeah, we can prioritize these
Jets
comebacks.
Browns.
Oh
Jets
yeah.
Browns 31-30 victory in Cleveland. They're down, with a minute 50 left. They're down 30-14 or whatever it was, and they
30, yeah,
come
30
back
to
and
7. Yeah, 30 to
30-14, 30-17, something like that.
yeah,
And they
either
come
way,
back,
sorry.
they win it, they score, they get the onside kick, they score again. Joe Flacco led the fucking Jets to their first win of the year. Robert Saleh was going nuts on the fucking sideline. What's his name? Young receiver. Garrett Wilson had a big day, 8 catches, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. Corey Davis even had a decent game, 83
Yeah.
yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he had the big
And the
one that
Jets,
came that brought him within a score. Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah. And the Jets fucking I wouldn't yeah, I'd say, yeah, I'll say it. They shocked the fucking world and they
Without a
beat the
doubt.
fucking Browns 31-30.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, I was rocking my Santana Moss jersey.
Yeah.
I had put that
Uh,
on all day. That was on from beginning to end. That wasn't just I didn't just throw that on just to come over to the compound. That had been on all morning long. Jets, 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 Jets. What a comeback. Honestly, that was a lot of fun to watch. With 2 minutes left, yeah, they go ahead and get it done. Can't spell elite without Joe Flacco. I mean, Jesus. I'm trying to think. Obviously, the big glaring issue, Brownie the Elf. That's the curse. That's a problem. No more of that. But that's going to be every time that's on the field. That's going to be a loss for them for sure. Uh, Browns had this one in the bag for without a doubt, and I hate this idea and this take online that it's Nick Chubb's fault. Why didn't he go down? Motherfucker, you were only in that game because of Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb had like
yeah.
130 on the ground, 3 scores. You were only in that game because
I
of
think
Nick Chubb.
he had 130 total, 3 touchdowns, 87 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only reason they were in that fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, to sit there and blame him, and then not only that, I mean, the kicker missed the extra point. I mean, there was that issue too, and then top on that, you don't recover the onside kick. Is that Nick Chubb's fault too? What are we doing here? So I don't know. People are just quick to blame, quick to look at like, oh, that was the problem. No, this was issue on issue on issue for the Browns. Uh, I wouldn't trace this and say that's going to be their season. There's definitely still potential and whatever, but I mean, yeah. The only thing out of that was just, I guess, all the pictures going around of the fans and shit being all, they're disgusting, and they like the.
Good.
How about the mannequin? Did you like that? How do you?
Oh, with the boner, yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know. Not a.
It said
That's
something
a
like
tough look.
hand jobs aren't illegal or something like that.
Yeah, some shit
Yeah.
like that. That's a tough look. I don't know. I guess that's just the Browns. Like that's just their demographic. They love Johnny Manziel. They love scumbags like that. So bring in, like I said, Deshaun Watson and all his drama and shit like that. So should work out. Uh, Another comeback. I don't know if you had anything else on that one. I,
No, the only speaking of comeback, I'm thinking maybe Deshaun Watson got a little fucking cum on one of the masseuses' backs or something like
Absolutely.
that. I don't know.
Yeah, that could have definitely happened. He was sitting there like, yeah, he's like, you probably heard that too. He's like, they did what? Why aren't they suspended? Oh, it was the okay, we lost. Gotcha. Yep, for sure. All righty. Yeah. No, I mean, toss. I'll go this one, and then I think save the best for last in terms of comebacks. Cardinals Raiders. This one was pretty cool too. Cardinals down 17-0 at one point. To me, I mean, you can ask. I was watching it with Mike. I was watching it with his brother. I'm just sitting there. I got Kyler Murray on my team, on my fantasy team, so I'm a little down in the dumps on that. But I'm just sitting there. I'm like, is it him, or is it just how bad the fucking Cardinals defense is? They were atrocious at times, but able to put it together at some points. Uh, I don't know if, again, don't know really to point the finger at the Raiders, or again, if maybe it's just a little knuckle up from the Cardinals, but Cardinals able to make the comeback. Obviously, everyone's seen that, making all the video game references when Kyler Murray does the video game esque 2-point conversion, getting 83 yards just to get 2 yards. One of those
Yeah,
things.
in 20 seconds.
Yeah,
From the time he fucking received the ball to the time he stepped in the end zone was like 20.8 seconds.
that's fucking
That's
awesome.
like Madden rookie mode Michael Vick
Yeah,
shit.
no, that's when
Like,
you're like
yeah.
when you're trying to dog the guy online, you're just fucking with him, and you go all the way to your end zone and then back to their end zone or something like that, and you waste a fucking minute and a half just fucking around with them.
Yeah.
And you
That
still end up
was
scoring
insane to
anyways.
watch live. We had that one on the TV too.
Yeah, no, I was, again, just like I said, I needed any points that I could at the time for fantasy. I'm just like, oh shit, he's over there. What are you doing? Sit down, throw it, pass it, run, dodge, dip, dive, dodge.
Yeah, dude. We're watching that one over there, and our buddy Mikey was over there. And first half of the game, I think Kyler Murray only had like 1 point or 2 points or something
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
doing
And
shitty. He had negative
and
points at one point for my league because he had that interception.
Jesus.
Sorry, go ahead.
So we're sitting there, and I got Tom Brady, who didn't do shit either. So Mikey's like, fuck, I'm trading Kyler Murray. You want him, Bill? And I'm like, yeah, what do you want for Kyler Murray? We start talking deals and everything like that. Ends up the game's over. He pulls out that ridiculous ass play. They win
Yep.
the fucking game. And I'm like, you still trading me fucking Kyler Murray? And he's like, I'll give you Carson Wentz. I'm like, fuck you. I don't want Carson Wentz. Honestly, right now I'll probably take Wentz over fucking Tom Brady, though. I
Yeah,
got a
you know
bone to
what?
pick
Not
with that
that bad.
cocksucker. But
Yeah.
yeah, Kyler Murray, it wasn't double XP weekend. I was a little concerned for him because the Modern Warfare 2 beta was released. So I was
Mm.
thinking, he's going to be grinding that new game, playing the beta, up until 3, 4 in the morning. But, maybe he did.
They had
But
a
that
325
that was
start, so I think you got a couple extra hours. So
exactly.
yeah,
So he had a couple extra hours. He didn't do great in the first half, so I think the fucking COD definitely got to him. But
yeah.
he went to the locker room, maybe ate an orange slice or two.
He had a Mountain Dew code
You know,
red, got another double
exactly.
XP code, and then he's like, "All right, I should be
Yeah.
set." I got
And then he
something to
was
look
good for
forward
the
to.
second half.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was an exciting ass fucking game. Heartbreaker for the Raiders. And I don't know if you saw the picture that's going around, but it was I think it was early in the or early mid third quarter. There was a Raider fan who had, I think he had two beers and he was shaking them up and he was
No, it
spraying
was
them
two
around.
giant champagne
Or
bottles that
was it?
were,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
it was
probably
champagne
expensive.
bottles. Yeah.
Probably,
And he was
yeah.
blowing them out like they were fucking, popping champagne like they already won the damn game. And
Hmm.
as soon as you saw that, you're like, "Oh, damn it.
Oh
Fucking
yeah.
Raiders are losing this game."
Yeah, I think I saw that post on one of those fucking gambling sites. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
when you count your chicken, or basically you count your chickens before they had, you're counting your fucking bet before it hits. And yeah, fucking buddy guys out there with two probably $500+ bottles of champagne, getting bottle service, spraying it everywhere, all over
Yeah.
everybody, looking like a total ass wipe. uh Last one I think it was probably the best one. And I'll go down honorable mention really quick. Falcons Rams. Falcons almost got the comeback on the Rams. The Rams almost doing the Falcons impression. I heard it on the broadcast when it was 28-3 for the Rams. He goes, "Well, we've seen 28-3 comebacks before. Always when it comes always related to the Falcons will that happen." So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. Quick little route, but I don't know. I didn't really pay all too much attention to it, but just like, oh shit, this is like Falcons are kind of slowly coming back. Maybe just one of those teams you might want to like when you see 10-point plus spreads with the Falcons. You're like, okay, maybe I can take that. I could take the +10 with them and feel confident. So yeah, backdoor cover for the Falcons. I don't know if you had anything on that before we get to the big comeback, which was Dolphins Ravens, which kind of just been teasing.
Yeah, that was a decent game. We sort of had that one watching it on the red zone. A lot of guys had, fantasy with the Rams and the Falcons. Yeah, like we said, preseason, a lot of question marks around these fucking Rams. Tough week one loss to the Bills, and then they come out and they look good. Allen Robinson finally scores a touchdown. I believe Cooper Kupp had another one.
Yep.
Cam Akers, fed a little bit fucking more, and our buddy fucking AJ, he was pissed because I guess he started Daryl Henderson, who did score the touchdown, but
Just
he was
didn't
like,
get it
no,
as
no,
much. Yeah, he didn't get
yeah,
the bulk of the offense. Yeah, he did get
yeah.
the
So
score. Yeah,
Cooper Kupp still had a great day. Luckily, I got Tyler Higbee as my backup tight end in fantasy, so I'm going to be looking to dish him off for fucking something potentially here
that's
soon.
nice. Yeah,
But still, yeah, a lot of question marks around this fucking Rams team. You give up 27 points to the Falcons, who I believe they had uh didn't they have a blocked kick or something on special teams that flipped the game there? Am I
I'm
thinking of a different
I'm
game?
not entirely sure. The block
Yeah.
kick for sure came in the Seattle game. That was their only score on the day. But I
Okay.
don't
I
remember.
think the Falcons blocked the punt and flip field position real
It could,
quick on that one.
oh yeah, I mean there could have been something like that. I think there was also there was a muff punt in the Steelers game. Maybe you're thinking of that if
Maybe.
possible.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Too much football yesterday.
I know,
Fucking
yeah. I'm still a little exhausted. I get up at 6 a.m. I do my quick little like 5 minute jobs at my thing, but I go to 12 different stores throughout the day, so it's a quick little mission. Maybe get a little cat nap in between, but yeah, I shit shower, shave, and I go over to fucking our buddies. I go over to Mike's or I'll go over to the compound. That's basically my Sunday schedule. That's gonna be the fucking. It's how it is going to be for the rest of the way out, and I fucking love it.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the Rams squeak away with a home win over the Falcons, but yeah, just the fact that they should have beat. I don't know what the line was opening up on that game, but only to beat the Falcons by 4 points and
I think they had
let them
10,
back
10 and
into
a
it
half,
early.
10,
Gee,
10
to
and a
let
half
them back
point
into that
spread.
early. That's if you're a Rams fan, that's a win. You're 1-1 on the year, but I'm a little concerned if I'm a Rams fan still.
Yeah. I'll counter it. If I'm a Falcons fan, I'm feeling okay. Seeing 0-2, it's still pretty bad. The only thing I'm like, all right, Marcus Mariota's okay. I just wouldn't be like, hey, throw the ball to fucking Kyle Pitts once in a while. I don't have him in any fantasy leagues or nothing, but I'm just, if some people are probably hurting in that aspect, they're like sitting there like they're just throwing their hands up, like, what the
Yeah.
fuck,
I
man?
don't know. I don't know the dude's name, but the head coach came out earlier today and he actually was quoted. I don't remember exact what the quote is, but I'm just gonna pretend this was what he said. He said he doesn't give a shit about your fantasy football game. We're here to win games. He said something along those lines. So,
That's
uh,
interesting considering that, like, fantasy football for the most part, for the people that, like, that do well and that want to do well, they focus in on that. They're like, oh, he gets the bulk of this. He's the number one guy. He's going to be the fantasy guy. He should probably just in that limelight. If he wants to win a game in real life, he should kind of think in that. Hey, maybe I should throw it to the best guy on my team and make
yeah, and
plays.
not, you
I don't
know,
know.
Mr. plus 6,000 anytime touchdown score, Olamide fucking
Yeah.
Zacchaeus or
Oh, he's
whatever.
not worried about fantasy, but he'll feed Cordell Patterson no fucking problem. Oh, he's not worried about fantasy. Shut the fuck up, you
Yeah.
dumb motherfucker. He
Drake
has no.
London, though. Drake London
Drake
did have
London.
the rookie receiver, did have a
Yeah.
good game.
I
Eight
stat.
catches,
I
86 yards, and a tutty.
hit him with a Sunday stash in one of my other leagues. That was a nice little thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
hopefully.
12 targets, too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you know what
Yeah.
that does to my dick? That just made it move a little bit.
Oh,
12 targets.
oh
Always
yeah.
love seeing those double digit targets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Uh yeah, but absolutely no. The main event had to be with the comebacks, Dolphins Ravens, without a doubt. I don't know. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I turned this off. It was 28-7. It was 28-14. I turned this game off." Uh you missed out on a big game then. Honestly, obviously. I mean, again, whatever, the head coach of the Falcons can fuck off, but 50 or 40 points depending on your league from Tua, 40 or 50 from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle most likely. These guys went the fuck off. I mean, this was crazy. 190 receiving from Tyreek Hill and two touchdowns, 170 I think from Jalen Waddle and at least two scores.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, again, and then 469 from Tua, six scores. He gives up two interceptions, but if you're throwing that much, you're going to make up for it. What a crazy comeback against a pretty solid Ravens defense. I know they lose Kyle Fuller to the torn ACL, but some guy, I mean, it shouldn't really matter when it's literally just I'm just gonna throw this up and for sure Tyreek Hill is gonna be there. It was the excuse for Patrick Mahomes last year. It's gonna be the exact same thing for Tua. I just love that Tyreek Hill immediately he's like, I'm just gonna get it right out of the way. All y'all haters saying Tua can't do this, Tua can't do that. It's just you basically just saying like, look at that, look at what he did. It was pretty impressive. It was a very fun game to watch from beginning to end. Like didn't have it on the main TV, but it just wasn't on the broadcast in our area. But yeah, seeing it constantly on Red Zone, they were piping it in as much as they could. So much fun to watch, and yeah,
Yeah, this game was fantasy fucking players' wet dream.
oh yeah,
Lamar Jackson, 21 for 19, 318 passing yards, three touchdowns, rushes for 119 and a touchdown. Bateman with over 100 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews over 100 yards and a touchdown. And then, like you said, Tua with almost 500 yards passing, six touchdowns. And we all know what Hill and
that
Waddle
is that
did.
is
Fucking,
legit a fucking like Madden stat
it
line.
was. It
That's what
honestly
you would you were like,
was.
I'm gonna dog you with my fucking quarterback and the franchise on my online franchise, or if you even if you just go offline, like, all right, I need my some XP for my guy. I'm just throwing the ball today. It's literally what happened. I mean, they were kind of able to run the ball a little bit. I have Chase Edmonds in another league. He got a big like 30-yard run. I guess that's gonna be my only question for them. Are they going to be able to run if and when the pass game gets somehow shut down? I mean, there are going to be games obviously when Tua doesn't put up 500 yards passing. So will they be able to run the ball? I think Chase Edmonds is talented enough to make moves and get stuff out and make some space, but I think that's going to be a lot of people's like counter, like, oh, they went off in the passing game. When push comes to shove, are they going to be able to run the ball?
Yeah, I don't know. I like Chase Edmonds too, but I've always looked at him more of just like a receiving back. Even with the
Yeah.
Cardinals, he was like that receiving guy, third down. I don't think they fuck if they play like that, they don't need to fucking run the ball.
Yeah,
So
exactly. But I mean,
they're not gonna need to run the ball. If they're forced to run the ball, yeah, I think question marks will arise around that team. But as of right now, they're 2-0. They're just throwing it up to Hill and Waddle, two of the fastest receivers in football, and just letting them, letting them get those fucking rack yards, burn those dudes deep, burn the dudes on the slant routes, and just nobody can catch you. Um, yeah, they don't need a fucking run game right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, as of right now, while the sun is shining, yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe when it gets a little colder out or something like that, maybe that'll change. But well, I don't know what their schedule is. Maybe they're in a dome for the rest of the way out. Who knows? That was basically it on the comebacks. Like I said, that was fucking crazy. Um, anything else glaring? Anything really big headlines you want to jump out at? Like I said, I got a bunch over here, but maybe one that you wanted to talk about right away.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk a little bit about the rest of the games. I think the biggest shocker of the weekend is the Jaguars shutting out the Colts.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
I know you had a little something to say about the Colts, and they did not look good at all. 24 to nothing in Jacksonville. I just saw a stat yesterday. The Colts are 0 and 5 in their last five meetings in Jacksonville. So wish I would have known that fucking
Yeah,
beforehand. Uh,
they're like crazy outscored in that like in
yeah,
those last couple of like meetings too, like a
yeah.
hundred something to 50 something. It's
Matt
ridiculous.
Ryan throws three interceptions. Jonathan Taylor only 54 fucking receiving yards or 54 rushing yards. Of course, I play this fucking Doolin guy Ashton Doolin, who makes five catches for 79 yards. Mike Smith's eighth fucking wide receiver. He has to start him because I don't fucking know. Pittman was hurt and some other dude, Gabe Davis, was hurt. So he starts him against me and he fucking has a good game. Go
Yeah,
figure.
Doolin was
But
everyone's sleeper that in the
yeah,
morning. That was a lot of names that I was
yeah,
reading
dude.
about. But yeah.
Colts look terrible.
Colts, I mean, yeah, I feel so fucking stupid sitting here and just looking back, thinking about it now, like, oh, the Colts are gonna be good. The Colts minus 120 to win the division. That's pretty good. Uh, they're fucking terrible. We got sold a bag of goods. We were sold the Brooklyn Bridge. We got fucked. We were what's the word? We were just we got fucking
Bamboozled.
yeah, we got bamboozled. Everything. We got fucking screwed. Uh, Matt Ryan is terrible. It's just simply that he did not make this team any better. This team did not improve. They are just the definition in my mind of what like a mediocre middle of the line mid tier team is. Gonna go 9-8, gonna go 8-9 or something like that. Yeah, they're frauds. We haven't used that word just yet this in any of the weeks, and it's been only 2 weeks. They are frauds.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
pretty safe to put that fucking label on them
yeah,
after, tying week one and now losing to the Jaguars, getting
yeah.
shut out by the Jaguars.
And I mean, what are
That's
you gonna do?
yeah.
What are you gonna do against a real team? If your first 2 weeks is you tie and then you lose to the Texans and then the Jags, what are you gonna do against the Bills? What are you gonna do against the Rams? What are you gonna
Yeah,
do
what are you gonna
against the
do about against the
Packers?
other you could argue those might be the two worst teams in the fucking AFC.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do against the rest of the
What?
AFC?
Yeah. What excuse me, the Chiefs, the fucking even the Broncos are looking at that team, be like, we can fucking beat the shit out of that team. It's yeah, it's kind of it's god awful. It's pitiful. I don't know if it's really that bad. If is Shaquille Leonard being gone that big of a deal for them? Otherwise, I mean, they look terrible. Matt Ryan's number one guy, Pittman, I guess he's gone. That was his substitution for Julio or whatever. He's just going to feed his one guy, but it's not going to work. And clearly, if Jonathan Taylor gets shut down, they have zero to no help at all. Getting a goose egg against the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether you're on the road or at home, does not matter. That is embarrassing. That
Yeah.
is that is just downright terrible. Yeah, I mean, again, if we're sitting here and we comparing it to the Bears game or whatever, I'm sitting here and I'm glad that that I'm a Bears fan and not a
Yeah.
fucking Colts fan. That I wasn't born,
Hey, can
200
we
4
pause
miles
this
that
real
way.
quick?
Uh,
Yeah. Or
yeah,
you
I
can
think
just cut
so.
this out or whatever. I'm getting a phone call real quick. I gotta answer
Yeah,
this.
sure thing. I think we
Okay,
can
I'll be
pause
right.
it. Alrighty, welcome back after that little small break. I think we just got done talking about the Colts, but you had one more thing. What did you want to wrap it up with?
I did, and this is for all my fantasy players out there. Maybe a question you guys could let me know what you think about this. Am I am I sort of justified now after week two not taking Jonathan Taylor first overall? I mean,
No.
we seen what he did week one. That was great. But week two, 7 fucking fantasy points. Whew.
No, because I mean, if Matt Ryan didn't suck balls and they were actually leading at all at any point in that game, Jonathan Taylor was going to get his regular game script. He was going to get 25 carries and he was going to get, I don't know, probably X amount of passes, probably a couple scores. So no, you're still not justified just yet.
I don't
You're
know.
gonna need
McCaffrey has more points on the year total than
you're
fucking
you're gonna need
than Mr. Taylor.
you're gonna need more than 2 weeks. You're gonna need a catastrophic injury to completely justify what your idea. Obviously the most safe pick was for sure Jonathan Taylor at 1-1. So I mean, no, you're not gonna. It's gonna take a lot to convince me just yet, but yeah, for sure. The only thing related to that, and if you want to talk and lightly comment on it, I didn't really get a lot of it. Only the only thing I watched out of it was when I went to Wingstop and picked up my food. Cowboys Bengals. Like I said, this kind of relates to it only to the idea of like Bengals. Are we into that realm of fraud just yet? Because I mean, I can't sit here and say Cooper Rush is the guy for the Cowboys. The Cowboys still aren't good. That might just be like their one hoorah. We got hurt now, but we're gonna bounce back this game. That might be like their that one game where that happens. But yeah, Bengals are getting beat up left and right. They somehow invest in the offensive line and it got worse. 13 sacks already given up by the Bengals offensive line. Now looking good. So, they're slowly and they were for sure able to come back on like a T Higgins touchdown in the end zone towards the end. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to take a lot. I don't know if it's just them being too scared, too conservative in the beginning, maybe just trying to establish Joe Mixon a little bit more than they should. I didn't really look at the box score or get too much of a in-depth detail on this game to really decide on that. But yeah, the big glaring overreaction might be to the Bengals in any which direction, really. If it was just like an overreaction to last year, or if it was just an overreaction to this year right now, like, oh, ha ha ha, they just got that lucky run to the Super Bowl, they're shit. Or it's just like, oh my God, they were a Super Bowl team. They should be doing better than they're expected. Either way, not looking good right now. I don't know what's gonna be the solution for them.
Yeah, no, they got to protect Joe Burrow a little bit more than they have
Oh,
been.
that's
Like
an
you said,
understatement.
13 sacks in 2 weeks. That is absolutely god awful. Um, I sort of expected, I like the Bengals. They're a good young team. They got a bunch of great weapons over there, both sides of the ball. But I was sort of expecting them to take a fucking step back. I didn't expect them to go 0-2 to start the season. I thought maybe you lose week one, a close one to the Steelers division game, anything can go on there. But I sort of expected like a get right game, especially with no Dak Prescott, going into Dallas, who looked terrible week one against the Buccaneers. You had to go in there and get this win and sort of get your season, early back on track. And fuck, you just lost to Cooper Rush and this team of fucking scrubs over there. I mean, their best player on offense was fucking Noah Brown yesterday. Who the
Oh
fuck
man,
is that guy?
brutal.
So yeah, there's a lot of concern if you're a Bengal fan right now. I still think they got the talent to put it all together, but they got to keep Joe Burrow standing upright if they want to do that.
Yeah, going down 0-2 early in that competitive division, that sucks. But seeing that the Ravens got that comeback loss against the Dolphins, that should be a
Yeah.
little bit more. I mean,
And you
I
know
think
what? They got
everyone in the AFC North lost yesterday. The Ravens, Ravens, yeah, I mean, yeah, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and fucking the Bengals all lost. So
Yeah, good for them. Week three, they do got the Jets on the road, but Jets 1-1. Big win week two. Might be looking to improve off that. You right now Bengals are actually 4.5 point favorites in that one, so you hope they can get on the board and get their first win there because after that they got the Dolphins, the Ravens, and the Saints
ooh,
the next 3 weeks. So
yeah, those are gonna
hopefully they
be.
can get on. If they don't win this game against the Jets, they could start this fucking season off 0-6,
Yeah,
and that's
without a
not
doubt.
good.
Not going to be looking pretty. I mean, they always bring up that statistic where, oh, if you're 0-2, your chance of making the playoffs is like 14% somehow, but it's just like, okay. Uh, Yeah, it's just gonna be an uphill battle, especially like you said. This turned into a winnable game with the injury, and then last week was for sure like probably on like okay, that should be a win no matter what. It's a division game, but those division games are always tough in the AFC North. So yeah, that one, like I said, yeah, big underdog win right there for sure. This was like I kind of like that, kind of good transition to the other games. This was a big week for a lot of get right games. Kind of made mention too is the get right game for the Rams. They looked good against the Falcons. They let them backdoor cover. This was a get right game, like you said, for the Colts and the Jags, and then the Colts or for the Colts end up losing. It's a get right game for the Bengals. They outright lose. This was also a get right game for the 49ers. While they also get the win, they get a big blow to their offense. Trey Lance going down for the rest of the year with a broken ankle, it seems. Jimmy Garoppolo came in. It was able to manage the game. I think he only threw like 194 yards, but able to get a score on the ground. Jeff Wilson Jr. rushed for about 80 yards as well. So they were able to get in there. The defense didn't give up any of the points, like you made mention to earlier. The blocked field goal attempt turned into a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. So I don't know, I don't know what the future is going to be holding for them. I saw that the odds for the 49ers actually improved their Super Bowl odds. So maybe Vegas is, like I said, maybe they trust Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit better. It kind of makes sense. He's been there before, able to run this program a little bit more. Now in my mind, I'm gonna get a better idea, just for again showing on me, but maybe just if you also have him, if any an understanding of how that backfield, that running backfield is going to work. So obviously, Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be the guy. It's going to be basically copy paste from last year almost. So maybe hopefully George Kittle gets a little healthy. Going to see some uptick in that offense as well. But I mean, while it is a big blow for a guy like myself I was interested to see how Trey Lance was going to pan out. I'm always interested to see how the mobile quarterbacks work, especially when they invested so much into a guy like him. It's no skin off my balls that he goes down, but just in terms of the football fan in me, it's just like I kind of want to see how this works out. So I don't know. Maybe an improvement for the 49ers, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I don't know. What are you seeing on the Trey Lance injury on the
So
49ers in general?
as far as the Trey Lance injury, I know you're also big into this, the sports card buying and selling. I've recently got into that.
Yep.
And it was funny. We're sitting over there watching the games yesterday, and right after the Trey Lance injury, I open up Facebook, and I'm a part of a couple of a Facebook group page for all the sports cards, buy, selling, and trading. The very first post, some dude just unloaded all of his Trey Lance cards. He's like, I'm looking to sell all these ASAP. Get at me, blah blah blah. And I'm not making this up. I just went onto Facebook again, and the first post on the top of my fucking timeline from 8 minutes ago, looking for some cheap Trey Lance. What you
Yep.
guys got?
Yep.
So it just shows how volatile and crazy
Buy the
some of these
dip.
sports cards
Buy
traders
the
are.
dip, baby. Just like how you would for stock. You buy the dip. I mean, if you're a firm believer, this could be the time to do that. Just invest some stock.
Yeah.
This is like the only way to like if you're in that realm of like investing and all that stuff, like stock. This is like the only thing besides, I guess, NFTs, if they're still in the sports realm at all. This is the only way you can really invest into a player other than like getting his autograph or something like that. So yeah, buy the dip if you believe in Trey Lance coming back, maybe comeback player of the year next year, some shit like that. We'll see. Like I said, not too much of a blow. I did have him on one of my fantasy teams as a backup quarterback. I'm obviously glad I didn't play him in any sort of aspect. This was going to be the week. It's like, all right, if he does well, maybe I do give him the start next week. But obviously, done for the year. Goodbye. Gonna have to just straight up drop him.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Like I said, just a
But,
shame for the
decent game by the 49ers defense. They get 2 sacks, 2 turnovers, two interceptions. And one of those interceptions not coming from a quarterback. Actually, DJ Dallas, they ran that weird I forgot what the fucking
Like a little flea flicker or
formation was.
something.
Yeah, they ran like a little triple option play,
Oh,
and
okay.
DJ Dallas rolled out and tried to throw it to someone in the back of the end zone. Ended up throwing up a fucking pick six. That was absolutely terrible. So yeah,
Dumb.
the Seahawks are who we thought they were. They gotta win week one just because of the storyline. I feel like. And yeah, the 49ers, Jimmy G, Trey Lance, it don't matter. That team, they got a great run game. They got a great defense, and big win
Big
week
win.
two. Get them back to win, or get them back to 1-1. One surprising thing I did see, Jeff Wilson Jr. He was obviously the go-to guy in the run game, but Tyrion Davis Price actually had 14 carries as well. Only had 33 yards, but again, 14 carries. Love that volume. So if
Yeah.
something ever happens to Jeff Wilson, maybe think about picking up this Tyrion
Yeah.
Price guy
I mean
for
that running
your
back room,
bench.
it's very deep there. But again, it could be, it could have been just another different game script. They're up so much. The Seattle Seahawks weren't moving the ball at all. I saw that Tyler Lockett had a good fantasy day. They had like 9 receptions for like 100, maybe 100 and something yards, no
Yeah, nine
scores.
catches, 107 yards
Yeah, so
on my
that's
bench.
pretty
Thanks a
good.
lot.
Yeah, same here. But I mean, if they're not going to move, if they're not going to score, that looks pretty good. And then yeah, you're probably just going to give some bullshit little thump offs to this guy. But I'm not gonna completely dismiss that. That's a very good thing to point out. Obviously, like you said, you're a volume monster, you're a volume machine. That's what you look for. Yeah. Speaking of going 1-1, getting a big win. The Lions come not come back, but they go ahead and cover again. So hopefully, he went ahead and followed my hammer play of the week, as well as also I think Jared Goff. Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns. That would have covered the 1.5 touchdown play if he also followed that. Uh, all brought to you by PointsBet. PointsBet code SYS9. Go ahead and do that if you're over 21 over in the states. I'm not going to waste my time just yet on that, but SYS9. Go ahead and fill it up. Uh, yeah, big win for the Lions. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. A little slow second half, letting the Commanders slowly get in, but they were able to. What we always want from the Bears, they were able to not come back again, but you're like they're up a score. Like, all right, fuck it, let's go get a score and make sure that we're not going to lose this game. And they were able to do that twice, I believe. So what Lions get the big win right there. Giants also get a big win right there. Also get a 2-0 on the series, 2-0 on the season already. They haven't done that and see what seems like forever from what the Twitter is all going on about. So I'll completely eat my words. The Giants have made me look stupid already in week 2. That defense is awesome. The defense is looking really good. So shout out to Julian Love for being the captain right there and whipping those fucking boys into shape. I'll throw this one up to you, and I'll let you speak on maybe both those games, just one of them, whatever you want to do. Is it too big of an overreaction already to think down the line that one of these two teams, maybe even both these teams, could sneak into that extra wild card spot this year?
No, it's not. It's really not. And obviously, we've sort of rooted for Dan Campbell and these Lions the last, year and a half. Him coming in, being the fiery guy he is, we get a more in-depth look with the Hard Knocks series. So I feel like everybody's just been rooting for the Detroit Tigers or the not Tigers, Detroit Lions.
Fuck them
And then on the flip
Tigers.
side, we've always had like a little personal connection to the Giants, just because, like you said, our boy Julian Love, Brian Dable got that team playing great football right now. Sure, they get a close win over, I'd say, a bad football team in the Carolina Panthers. They're 0-2.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they have a lot of young weapons on that team, man. They really do. Saquon's shown that he's back to his original self. He had 21 carries yesterday. Sterling Shepard didn't have the worst game ever. Looks like they found a nice little young target in Richie James. So I don't know if you guys in deeper leagues maybe stash him on the bench. He's had 2 decent weeks for the Giants in the
Anything on
receiving game.
Kadarius Toney? I keep hearing that name going around. Like, oh, if he doesn't do anything this week, I'm gonna have to drop him. I feel like he
Yeah,
was
I'd
so
drop him
overhyped.
again. I would
Okay,
drop him again. I
all
mean,
right,
another week he didn't do anything.
makes sense.
And I heard this stat yesterday that regarding another receiver on that team. Kenny Galladay. He is
Oh
currently
yeah.
the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, and he doesn't have a catch yet this season.
I thought he grabbed his stuff and left. I heard he just
Oh,
left
I
the
didn't hear about
I
that,
heard
but
something about him get he just a report. I don't know. It could just be through the grapevine or whatever. But I heard he just gathered all his shit and just cleared out his locker and left. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if there's any reports on it today about that. If there's any
wow.
traction from that, but yeah, Kenny Galladay, Kenny G. He's play that sad fucking saxophone. Hey, it sucks. That's a bad
Yeah,
one.
I mean, on the defensive side of the ball, you got Leonard Williams, you got Xavier McKinney, Dexter Lawrence, our boy Julian Love. That defense is playing great, great football over there. Julian Love actually leading the team with 8 solo tackles and a sack yesterday.
Oh
So,
yeah,
Julian fucking balling out.
earn that fucking C.
If I was to pick one of these teams, and I got love for Julian Love, I got love for Dan Campbell. I would honestly go. I would go with the Lions if I had to pick a team. To squeak into that 7 spot in the NFC. I think the Lions are that team. I think they got a little more offensively to offer than the Giants have shown this year.
I
Um,
like that for the exact same reason, but I mean, in terms of like what you're giving edges to, you're giving the offensive edge to the Lions. I'm giving the defensive edge to the Giants.
yeah, for sure,
But
for sure.
and then it's all going to come down to, I mean, if it comes down that late in the season, their home field, what's going to turn more? Is the dome going to help more? Is that loud Giants atmosphere in whatever fucking, I know they're in New Jersey, but they got the head coach now is making it known. I think he was quoted saying like, I saw you guys in the parking lot. You guys were getting rocked on all the adult beverage. I think he was using that was the word that like caught traction. He's like, you're getting rocked out there. Keep it up. So he's all about like getting the audience, getting the crowd interacted to fuck with the other team. And that's just gonna, again, that's just creating a fucking
Yeah,
different
yeah,
atmosphere, a whole different type of culture for that, which I guess the Giants just haven't seen just a winning mentality in the last couple of years.
yeah. I mean, you said offense goes to the Lions, defense goes to the Giants. When it comes to the head coach, don't make me decide because
Oh
I
yeah,
love both of
no,
these guys.
no.
Brian Dable, and Dan Campbell. I can't fucking pick between those two dudes. So yeah, I think both of these teams,
that
both
that is that is a that's
I
a
would be happy
solid
with
one
either
A
of these
one
teams.
B right there in terms of
Yeah,
coaching. You can't, if you had 100 shots, it would 50 would go one way and 50 would go the other way. That's exactly how I would see it in that way. I wouldn't be able to choose in that way either. I don't know that's gonna be the report card too. Who's gonna out coach who more throughout the season? Is Dan Campbell gonna out coach his opponents more throughout the season? Or I'm sorry, what's the head coach of the Giants name?
Brian Dable,
Brian Gable,
Dable, yeah, with
Dable.
a
Okay,
D.
sorry. Thank you for enunciation with the DAAAgenerates podcast today. So yeah, Brian Dable, if he can outcoach his opponents more throughout the season, we'll see how that goes. If that's a stat, if that's a tangible stat that we can somehow keep track of, maybe that can also decide that. But I mean, this is one of again, a big if. Might could be complete overreaction. We might not even be talking about these teams come November. So we'll see how it is. We'll definitely toss that one up in the air. Uh, couple of quick ones, and obviously we got our 2 Monday nights of kind of sitting here. Don't want to, not too much to preview on it, but I mean, Broncos had an underwhelming win against the Texans. The Texans just able to stick around like a bad itch. Just couldn't get away from it. Mr. Unlimited looking pretty limited so far right now. And I saw PointsBet, code SYS9, PointsBet was giving out a free bet to anyone that bet a future for Russell Wilson to win MVP. They gave you a free bet back. He said the tweet was Russ is cooked. For anyone that bet him to win MVP, we're rewarding you with a free bet. So go ahead and haul in on your free bet. And if you don't,
Wow.
go ahead and sign up with PointsBet, code SYS9. Go ahead and help yourself out. And us over here at the DAAAgenerates podcast. Like I said, underwhelming win. Bucks and Saints, that was a bit of a snooze fest.
Yeah, that was an ugly
The
one.
only thing I had was just, thanks, Mike Evans. I don't know if you saw his mouth word and him wording it. He's like, it's Tom Brady. What the fuck do you want me to do? I mean, he's kind of taught. He's kind of torn between. He's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. It's just, do I go over and fuck him up and get his 1 game suspension like he did, or do I do nothing and get a tongue lashing from Tom Brady? Maybe not on the sideline, but I'm for sure gonna hear it the rest of the tomorrow, the day after, the day before that. So I don't know. That was my thing on that. And then last game, Steelers and Patriots again, snooze fest. I really had nothing invested in
Yeah,
that.
I had nothing either except the crowd was chanting Kenny during the
Yeah,
fourth quarter.
that's
They wanted Mitch out of the game, so it don't look like Mitch is gonna be
yeah. No,
starting there much longer.
I don't want to be that guy and say I said it before anybody else, but like in the morning, I was like, this could be a game where we see Kenny Pickett's debut. We might be seeing a rookie debut today. I mean, like I said, the only people you can be like, oh, what receipts you got on that? Ask Mike and ask Pete, ask Stinky Pete. We were in the same agreement. That basically wraps up football. But I mean, there's the Monday night game. The only thing I had really was one question. Do you think the winner of tonight's Vikings Eagles is going to be, maybe overhyped a little bit as like going to be like you're going to see NFC top tier NFC guys, obviously Bucks, and then they're going to say Packers, Rams, and then probably again whoever wins from these two from this game right
Honestly,
here.
honestly, no. I think both of these teams deserve it. Like
Okay.
we were high on the Eagles, we were high on the Vikings. They made big offseason acquisitions, with AJ Brown going to the fucking Eagles. Vikings still, they bring in that whole new offensive uh coaching staff. So both teams favorites, to win their division or top, first or second team to win their division gambling odds wise. I think both of these teams are legit. They both got good offenses, good defenses, a lot of high powered weapons. They got star power, and they're both Eagles fans are scumbags at times, but two diehard fan bases too. So no, I don't think it would be overreaction. Now, if someone goes out there and let's just say the Vikings win this one, they win it ugly, like it's 38 to
35-10. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
38-7 or
Yeah.
something like that, then maybe look at the Eagles a little bit differently. But I uh I don't think there's gonna be any overreaction if this is a good game and it goes down to the fucking wire, even the loser, I'd still look at them as one of the top five teams in the fucking NFC this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely have the potential to slide in. If we're even referencing the Giants and the Lions in the same breath as a wild card spot, then you can for sure put the Eagles and the Vikings in that same sort of sentence and category without a doubt. I was just throwing that in there because you have that fun little extra wild card spot, that being the 7th spot, because again, the two one slots, the two one seats are going to get buys this year. Uh, yeah, and if you had anything else on week 2, I mean, Titans, Bills could be a complete shellacking, or it could be a little upset with the Titans. I don't think there's going to be any in between. I got the Titans to cover tonight. We'll see how that goes. I also have the under, and I'm going with the over in the Vikings Eagles game. That's one of the games I gave out, both on the fantasy show and the last show on Thursday. So, hopefully that goes ahead and that hits as well. If you have anything else on week 2, I have one little fun thing on the Saints before we wrap up football.
No, that's it. What do you got on the Saints for us?
Well, so a fun little Saints thing. While they get the loss in the Buccaneers this week, that doesn't really matter this week. It is what it is. The Saints went ahead and they opened up week 1. They beat the Falcons, and that opened up the book for something that hasn't been done just yet. The Saints have the potential to win the Bird Gauntlet. You're like, Nick, what is that? What is the Bird Gauntlet? I'll tell you, my friend. Sit down, don't spaz out. They went ahead and they beat the Falcons week 1, and they're going to need to beat the remaining bird teams. All the teams that are birds have bird mascots. They're going to have to beat them the remainder of the season to be the first and only team to win the Bird Gauntlet. So, pending week 5, when they play Seattle, the Seahawks, they're going to have to beat them. And then after that, week 7, the Cardinals. Week 9 against the Ravens, which is probably, in my mind, the toughest challenge. And if they get there, the last week, the last game of the season, they get the Eagles in week 17. So a challenge up ahead for the Saints. Definitely, I'm going to be rooting for them to win the Bird Gauntlet this year. I think that would just be very fun. I don't know if maybe a sports book or two had that prop open. Maybe someone saw that beforehand. I think that's pretty awesome. Bird Gauntlet open for the Saints. Anything like I said, anything wrapped up on NFL before we get into
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna get that. Not
it's
after seeing
wishful.
how
I
how
know.
they looked, how they looked absolutely god awful against the Buccaneers, who they looked pretty bad themselves.
Yeah.
Um,
Jameis Winston went ahead and looked like he didn't get LASIK. He had what, four fourth quarter interceptions or
yeah,
something
it
like
was
that.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
so that
bad.
was my underdog play, and boy, yeah, egg on my face. I didn't really plan for that. It was looking good for two and a half quarters, three quarters, and then the Buccaneers started scoring points, and then Mike Evans takes out Marshawn Lattimore. I think they both got disqualified. I don't know if Lattimore got a suspension. He I don't know if he deserves
He
it.
didn't know.
Okay.
Mike
I mean,
Evans was the only one.
it's a tough look to get suspended. I'm like, I'm the one that got tackled. I'm the one that got punched. You did kind of start it, but it is what I don't care. It's not, that's nothing's going to save
You
Mike
know,
Evans.
watching it, we had that game on the TV. It actually looked like it started with a lot of people were saying it started with Brady saying something to
Oh,
Lattimore.
yeah.
It
Yeah, I think he
looked
did.
like it looked if you watched it, if they showed it very quickly, Bruce Arians actually said something to Marshawn Lattimore
Oh,
on the
shit.
sideline, and then Tom Brady said
Okay.
something to Marshawn Lattimore. So everyone's out there blaming Brady, blaming Evans. I'm putting the blame on Bruce
I
Arians
like
because
that.
he said something. He said something. You saw Marshawn Lattimore looked back and said, looked at him and said something to him, and that's when Tom Brady came up and got in his face and he said something. So I'm putting the fucking blame on Bruce Arians on this one.
Okay, that no, I like that. That makes sense. I'm like I said, I'm glad I didn't jump the gun and say like, oh, that's Latimer. Latimer has some fault. No, it doesn't seem like he has any, other than just like
No, no.
playing maybe a little too aggressively. I'll agree with Mike Evans. He was getting a little animated, getting a little, like you said, getting a little too emotional with this shit. So I mean, but that's football. Everyone's been there if you played a part in it or in some sport, some aspect. Uh, for me, and then hopefully for you, like I said, that about wraps up NFL. Uh, can kind of quickly gloss over some MLB and some wrestling to wrap this baby up. If you had anything more,
Yeah, for sure. That wraps it up on week two. Week three coming up later in the week. We'll
yeah,
preview everything. We got
Bears
Bears
Texans,
Texans from Soldier Field. That'll be a fun one. Like I said, I'll be in attendance, so
yeah.
I'll post some pictures on
Yeah,
Instagram and the
take some
fucking Twitter and
pictures.
everything like
Yeah,
that.
send a
Uh,
telegram. Send us everything. Yeah.
Thursday night game this week, we got the Browns Steelers. It should be an ugly one, and that's on Prime Video. Mike, they're going to be using that little football you like.
Oh yeah. Never gonna let that go. That's great. Yeah, without further ado, we can go from the gridiron to the diamond. I got, like I said, little last stitch up for the White Sox, the last little hoorah. Unfortunately, I did see that the Cubs were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I don't know if you had anything
Yeah, they
final.
were mathematically eliminated in April.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were gonna go. Yeah, they were mathematically eliminated, but they're not out just yet.
No,
Uh,
they've been
no,
done.
yeah, no, they're done. So kid. Uh, yeah, and then like I said, one last little hoorah for the White Sox. Utility players are gonna be, before I get into that, utility players will be receiving Gold Gloves this year. I don't know if you saw that. Both an NL and an AL utility player will be receiving a Golden Glove this year. I'm not exactly what the qualifications are just yet, but it just sounds like to me just another excuse just to give Larry Garcia another individual award. It kind of just sounds like he's getting the LeBron treatment for the MVP. He's gotten that too many times. Too much. You can't. It's just it doesn't look good. It doesn't make the league look good. So you kind of just have to create other awards for him. So yeah, just gonna have to give Larry Garcia this utility players gold glove. How you feeling on that?
I guess it's a cool little, I guess it's a cool little fucking aspect that they're adding to the game.
Yeah.
I've always said, and maybe give me your opinion on this, and it's sort of, kind of, not really the same thing, but sort of is. We got the DH now. It's been around for the years in the American League. We just adopted it in the National League. Um, how about this? Find a way to make a designated fielder position instead of just a utility guy winning a gold glove. Why don't we have a pinch fielder or
Yeah.
something like that? Just a guy who he's gonna fuck. If that was the case, Jason Hayward would be the best fucking player in the league. I mean, he's batting
Yeah.
169, but he's a gold glove right fielder every year. So at least he would have lived up to that end of his fucking $180 million contract.
Now that you say that, I do remember you bringing up this idea, and I do remember just saying like how just mind-numbingly boring that would have to be to only play in the field
Oh,
to
for sure, for sure.
never go out and hit. Just sounds fucking like just terrible. Nails on a chalkboard type bad. The only thing I can kind of relate that to is I think there was some guy in the early 80s, early 90s, or yeah, early 80s, late 80s. He didn't have like wasn't unassigned a position. He was only listed as a pitch runner. So that was it. That was his only thing. He only got he was on base. He pitch run to get on base, obviously, after someone slow got on base, and he would just go steal bags. So I mean, for sure someone has the name and they're kicking themselves like it's him, it's this guy. I feel like he was not like again late 80s, early 80s, possibly on the Reds. He was just only if you get his baseball card, it doesn't say first base, it doesn't say outfielder, it just says PR for pinch runner. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna have to look
Yeah.
that up. Well, maybe while we're talking or nothing, but
I have a
not
fucking
important.
hot take regarding that.
Okay.
If the pinch runner, or not the pinch runner, the pinch fielder was a thing, Billy Hamilton would be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Billy
Yeah.
Hamilton might be the greatest center fielder of all time. The best
Mm-hmm.
pinch fielding center fielder of all
Him,
time.
Adam Engel. He always goes in for Eloy after after the Sox get leads or something like that. Yeah, like I said, last before I get in the last ditch effort, little last hoorah. Pujols hit 698. We're just keeping count of that. 2 more away from 700. Getting closer. Just getting closer. Like I said, not really much to analyze on that. He hit the ball. It went really far. We're counting it. He needs 2 more. Uh, like I said, if you got really nothing on the Cubs, I'll go in on my last little thing on the Sox. You got anything?
No, no, nothing on the Cubs.
Alrighty.
Fucking let's talk some White Sox.
Alrighty. Like I said, this is just my last little let's bring it in. Let's focus in right now. Because right now, as we're recording, the Guardians already went ahead. The Twins were no help. They were absolutely zero help. Every team that went ahead and played the Guardians, they just went ahead and lost. The Guardians just keep kind of rolling. I saw Elvis Andrews' comments saying that the Guardians are going to crumble sometime soon. I'm hoping sometime soon is right now because we're have a 4 game lead as we're recording. No, it's a travel day, or excuse me. White Sox are probably came back last night, so day off right now. Guardians are gonna have to travel to Chicago tonight. So with that, it's nice that they get the little break. Get a little time to clear their head before the Guardians get into town tomorrow. Like I said, as we're recording, they're going to start their 3 game series on Tuesday. This is it. This is the series right here. This is the season right here. You're down 4 games right now as we're talking. You need to win all 3 to even just be in contention in any sort of aspect. Because we got these games against the Guardians, like one more series against the Tigers, maybe one more against the Twins or something like that, and then the Padres. So get it in, do it now, like because this is it. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is the series to go ahead and sweep. If there's anything to go do now, you win these 3 games. You get your best bats right now. Get your best lineups in right now. Hopefully, I don't know, Cease, Kopech, Lynn are all fucking locked in, ready to go. I know Cueto has been, he's got a little bit of a tummy ache, so that's why we had like Davis Martin had just got the call up. He had to do an emergency start the other day. Beat the Tigers as he should. Look pretty decent with it as well. So I don't know. Like I said, this is the rally. This is the bring it in moment. If we lose any one of these games, I'm for sure all hope is lost. This just a 5 game lead. If they were to lose the first game or something like that, is probably gonna have to pack it in. Like I said, Twins they were no help getting any sort of wins over the Guardians to make this central lead any easier. But no, we have to win all 3 of these. That's it. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get too emotionally invested into it if the Sox aren't going to be into it. The only thing I will say right now, just as I was thinking, the Twins put in a lot of effort making like trade deadline moves, getting rid of prospects and shit like that. My only, the Sox kind of did the complete opposite. They didn't make really any moves, made one or two, and none of them were fucking spellbinding or fucking earth shattering. The only thing I will take away is like if we don't make it to the playoffs, if this last ditch effort is all for naught, at least we didn't give away our top fucking prospects this year. At least we still got that going for us. But I mean, that's just I guess just the positive at the end of this shit tunnel if there's no winning in sight. So focus in now, get these wins, fuck the Guardians, go White Sox. If you had anything on that, that's baseball.
I love the Jim Leahy reference right there. The light at the end of the shit tunnel. I don't know if you or anybody listening ever watched the Trailer Park Boys, one of the funniest TV shows of all time.
I'll be
The
honest,
shit hawk.
I didn't even think about that. But I
No, he's got
obviously
the
yeah.
shit hawk, we got the shit cane, we got the shit abyss, and we got the light at the end of the shit tunnel. I love the little fucking shout out to Jim Leahy.
There you
Rest
go.
in peace, greatest trailer park supervisor of all time. Yeah, it's all hands on deck for the Sox. Like if you don't sweep this series, it's pretty much season over at this point.
Yeah. There's no time. There's no time to make up and like, oh, we got this series. No. This is it. Like you got 10 games left. I don't know. I'm not looking at any calculator in front of me. I don't have the records in front of me. I don't feel like doing math. Uh a handful of games left. Win them all. Make sure that they lose them all. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Win, fucking win. It needs to be a playoff atmosphere in the at the G spot. It needs to be a playoff atmosphere at guaranteed rate field. So
The G
any
spot.
anything less than that is just like I said, season's done if they don't get these wins. So that's it. Go White Sox. Let's fucking maybe this will be the last time we're talking about them, or maybe we're talking about them for another month or so. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If you had anything else, that was MLB. We can wrap this up really quick with some with quick little wrestling. Quick little wrestling.
Yeah, let's talk some wrestling. Before we get into that, did you see this thing that just came out on Sports Center that the Las Vegas police are investigating a fan that struck Kyler Murray in the face after the win yesterday?
No, I did
No,
not see anything about
I'm gonna
that.
send you this video right now over to IG. And apparently he ran up next to the fucking fence, next to the wall where all the fans are sitting, and someone reached out and looks like they fucking hit him in the face. It looks like an accident. It looks like fans were just reaching out to grab him and like someone accidentally hit him in the mouth. Like I don't think this was malicious or this had any intent behind it. And he immediately turns around and he like grabs this Raider fan that just he has a big smile on his face and the guy's holding up his cell phone just like recording what's going on. So I don't think, I mean he does have a Bass Pro Shop hat on and I hate when people wear Bass Pro Shops hats because they probably have no idea how to fish. Uh, but it it looks like this came out about an hour ago that the police are looking into this, but watching this video that they put out, it looks like there was no intent. Nobody was meaning to hurt Kyler Murray there. They were just trying to grab him like fans do and
Yeah,
accidentally caught him in like the chin, it looks like.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm kind of under the same impression. There's there's nothing like I mean, if he was gonna hit him, it probably seemed like he would come in with a fist instead of like an open hand,
Yeah,
kind of
like
like grabbing motion. It looked as though he was already if you again, it's kind of tough when you're in a podcast form, but if you when you do look at the video, he's turned his shoulders and he's facing the crowd, and he's kind of and at this instance he's turning around, going to go back to his teammates, and it looks as though this hand comes out from the crowd, gets him like right here in the chest, and yeah, kind of does get him across the face a little bit. I can kind of see where in the heat of the moment something like that could happen. And again, if
yeah.
you're in enemy territory like Kyler Murray was, you're on a little bit of a on your senses are a little heightened. But look like you went to a Cardinals section of the fan base, but still, yeah, I'm not gonna say it's anyone's fault. It's just like a misunderstanding, and I hope maybe, yeah, it just like I said, I'm yeah. Again, looking at it right now, I'm under the same impression. Doesn't look like it purposely went to fucking punch, slap, hit
Yeah,
Kyler
not at
Murray.
all.
So yeah, I hopefully cooler heads prevail, like I usually say in instances like that. Um, yeah, if you had nothing else on that, I got some wrestling to cover before we get on out of here. Like just lightly touch upon it before we get on out of here. You all get on that?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome possum. All right, yeah. One of these stories kind of relates to one of your guys, and then one of them, another show coming to Chicago for AEW. So I kind of thought we'd lightly touch upon that. But yeah, no, your boy Malachi Black actually breaking the silence on what was, rumors surrounding his quote unquote conditional release from AEW. Uh, he gave a huge statement out, I think, on Instagram, over on Twitter. I'm sure if I, all the everything, whatever, if you can't find his official statement in from him, you can find for sure big bulks of it, big statements for big chunks online from other tweets and shit like that. He was more or less just confirming that, he's had a lot of success in the past couple decades. His rise to fame has been cool. He loves that. And he didn't use that word. He didn't, everything's been cool, dude. No, he's not talking like fucking idiot like I am. But he was just like, he's very happy with the success. A little, how it is like that when success does come so fast. Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of other fucking headaches come with it. So again, he's more or less just saying, 20, a bunch of success, all this again. But the big, most important part, what I'm trying to get to was, if it didn't come from his mouth, it's not true. That's what he was trying to point out. He's seen a ton of rumors, a ton of narratives online about him and his wife, or him and his relationship with AEW,
Yeah,
his,
him and like his
his
mental health.
yeah, him and his mental health,
Uh,
him just dealing with the idea of like not just leaving AEW, just leaving wrestling in general. Again, he was just alluding to, if it didn't come from me, it's not real. So don't get wrapped up in the dirt sheets. Don't get wrapped up in what Dave Meltzer thinks. Don't get wrapped up in, hell, a guy, a dumbass like myself, spewing off on a podcast. Don't get wrapped up. If it didn't come from him, it's not a big deal. So I won't sit here and speculate like, oh, he's going to do this now, he's going to do that. This is honestly, in my mind, this is a little bit more relieving than obviously what everybody else has been reporting on. All the bullshit rumors have been saying like, oh, he's done, he hates this, he hates his he feels that AEW is a prison. None of that came out of his mouth. None of that's for real. So if it's just time for him to take a step back, just needs a break, perfectly okay with that. And a lot of guys do that. A lot of gals do that. And in the wrestling industry, in this business, makes a ton of sense. So all the power to you. Take the time, Malachi, if I'm talking, as maybe just on behalf of both of us, take the time, because we want to see you in the ring again. We want to see at full 100% capacity, because, I mean, you could argue between him and maybe, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who else really had a groundbreaking, most impactful debut in AEW, because it went literally from just like, the little tidbits, the little vignettes of, oh, it's Black, the Blackness, Tyler Black, Malachi Black coming in. And then boom, he's just in the ring with Arn Anderson and just kicks his fucking head off and shit like that. And like, oh, he's going to immediately run a program with Cody, ends up beating Cody twice. And then, yeah, so just very fun run. And then, people could say, oh, he dropped the ball, putting him in the House of Black. Whatever. You compared to other WWE guy, if that's just, again, that's just like the people online that want to spew off that, oh, AEW dropped the ball with this guy, they dropped the ball with that guy. WWE does it just as much, if not worse, than AEW so far. So just get better, Malachi. I guess that would just be the thing. Again, read over his statement in full if I missed any uh big parts from it. But that was more or less the most important part to me, was him saying to everybody, all the rumors, all the speculation, it doesn't come from my mouth. was not said. So, like I said, maybe just your thoughts on that,
Yeah.
because, like I
It
said, that's your guy.
seems like there's an awful lot of that going around in wrestling
Oh yeah,
nowadays, not just AEW, all of fucking wrestling. So from now on, I'm not gonna believe anything I see on the internet. I'm
yeah.
not gonna fucking take any fucking sides, one way or the other when it comes to any of these rumors that are, out on the internet. Because, like you said, anybody with the most small little shred of fucking what's the word? Not
Credibility.
accountability, credibility,
Yeah,
not
when you get that little
accountability,
blue check mark,
credibility.
you think you're fucking
Yeah,
Jesus. So you can just, oh,
exactly.
what I say is law, what I say is fact. It's not. It's simply not. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of characters are going to come into question. In my mind, they should. A lot of these, how CM Punk was doing in that media scrum, a lot of these journalists, their head should be on the chopping block in terms of, yo, what are you doing? Who are you? What have you done in this business for anybody? Why does your opinion hold fucking try whatever again try fucking priority over everybody else's or anybody else's or the person that we're even talking about in general? Why is your fucking opinion about them going over the priority of the fact that's coming out of the person's mouth? I'm getting ahead of it. I'm getting a little antsed up on it. But like I said, get better, Malachi. Like, yeah. Do you have any more on
Yeah, for
that?
sure. Same as the Moxley situation. If you got to take as much time as you can, away from wrestling to whatever is actually going on in your life to handle that stuff to get back to 100%, by all means go for it. And if it was the last time we saw him in the match, I know it was a short period of time, but I'm happy I was there. He's been my go-to guy in the House of Black and AEW, and I'll proudly wear and still wear his fucking eye black to
Yeah.
every show I go to.
And again, if it was like NXT, Raw, SmackDown, they love to, it's very subtle. They don't like they don't broadcast it and like point it at you, but they make sure that when the guy is moving on to another company or he's being called up to the main roster, they get their curtain call shown on TV. AEW didn't show Malachi Black's curtain call and maybe in Tony Khan's mind, that wasn't it, because that probably wasn't it. I think Malachi Black could, he's full potential to come back, and again, it just the same, if not better. But again, I won't sit here and speculate. Again, if it doesn't come from his mouth, he didn't say it. Uh, Last little wrap up thing I had on the show was another AEW show coming to Chicago. We're getting, it has promised, if you were there in the, let's see, maybe last year or the year before that, the Thanksgiving shows that came around the first year or so, Tony Khan came out himself like he usually does for AEW shows, or at least when he's done it every single time I've gone to an AEW show. Comes out, spices up the crowd, he gets everyone jazzed up. He introduces, this match is coming in tonight. You're gonna be seeing Hangman, you're gonna be seeing the FTR, you're gonna be seeing, oh yeah, he just stomps the fucking stage and he gets everyone all hyped up. He promised that Chicago is going to get all out and they're going to get a Thanksgiving show basically every single year, because that's where he's going to be at those particular times. So this is where this rant's going to come from. So again, AEW coming whatever November 26th, 27th, whatever that show is, a late Thanksgiving show I think it's at the Wintrust in Chicago. Tickets are on sale on Friday or some shit. But again, everyone in the comments, this is what I'm getting to. Everyone in the comments, stop going to Chicago. Wow, another show in Chicago. You guys only go to Florida and Chicago. Yeah, dude. Yeah, again, point two and two together. Oh, maybe the place where they're from and maybe the two places where they're from and where they live is where they're gonna do the most shows, is where they're gonna do the best fucking product. It makes the most sense again when Chicago is the most consistent sellout crowd, not only to just AEW, they sell out WWE shows, they sell out indie shows. You could argue that Chicago is probably the best wrestling crowd. I mean, no lie. I mean, you just like, every concert venue, every band goes up and says, "You guys are the best crowd we've ever seen. Thank you, Cleveland. Thank you, Cincinnati. You guys are the best." Chicago probably really is legitimately the best wrestling crowd. I mean, I've been to Vegas for a show. That crowd was crowd was tame. Just, I mean, it was Vegas. And then the show in Florida, again, it was probably, that one was really rocking. I'll put that on the outskirts because that was the first live full capacity show since COVID had started. So I'll put that on the outskirts of it. But Chicago really has it popping. So to anyone that's complaining in the comments, shut up. Just shut the hell up. You're wasting your breath. This is how it's gonna be, and I mean, it just makes no sense. And everyone's like, and this is my favorite argument. Oh, another show in Chicago. When are you gonna come to Knoxville? Hopefully fucking never, because you're one horse town with a Denny's over there and a gas station over there. It makes no sense to come over to your fucking town. Why would All Out go to Topeka, Kansas? Why would fucking Revolution be in I don't know. I don't even mean to keep hating on Kansas, like Wichita or something. Why would they go to these shitty one horse towns? You go to the big ones. You go to Chicago. You go to New Jersey. You go to New York. You try to go to Los Angeles when you can. They're trying to work on the West Coast, but it makes no fucking sense to complain about having a show in Chicago. And if again, well, my last little thing, if you're complaining, just fucking bite the bullet, get a ticket, fly your ass over here and see why they sell out every single time. See why they have a show over here, because it's very much worth it. And every time you have that interaction with I can't think of his name, Justin Roberts, the announcer, he's like, "Who's from Chicago?" It's like half. It's literally half goes, and then like, "Who's from outside of Chicago?" It's basically the same amount of people reacting. People travel. AEW travels really well. Come here, come and see a show. You'll see why we get a whole weekend, why we get a full pay-per-view, why we get the best shows, because we're the best crowd. That's it. I mean, that there you go. Do you have
Yeah,
anything
I
on
mean,
that?
you hit it right on the head. You could have, you could account more than me. You've been to a shit ton of more shows than me, but just watching the shows, whether being there or just watching them on TV, I've never seen a dead crowd in
Yeah.
Chicago. Never. And as much as I love AEW, they go to some places where the crowd doesn't do a damn thing, and
Yeah.
it sucks as you're a perform if you're a performer. You go to one of those dead ass crowds and you put on a match of a lifetime and nobody's doing shit. And I guess as a performer, you just feel like, oh, am I not, living up to my expectation? Am I
Yeah.
not performing as well? No, you are. It's just you're in, like you said, Wyoming
Yeah.
or some
Like,
dumb shit like
sorry,
that.
Greenwich, Connecticut, that you can't get fucking Moxley versus Hangman. Probably because that town is a snooze fest. No one wants to go over there for that exact reason. I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't exactly. That was my favorite thing. It's just like, why aren't you coming to Kentucky? Why aren't you coming to my nowhere fucking town in Oklahoma? Because no one fucking lives there. No one's gonna sell a show out there. Not even WWE would have trouble selling a show out there. So you go to your bread and butter, and you go where again. This is like the Khan family's, plans just in their family. Like, this is what they do Thanksgiving time. They come to Chicago, so they're gonna do this from here on out. It's just how it's gonna be. So if you're gonna complain, you're gonna be complaining for a long time about this fucking stupid shit. Otherwise, like I said, book a flight, come on over and see why we get all these good fucking shows. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's so dumb. It's just so fucking stupid to sit there and like complain about, oh, they're not coming. Why aren't they coming over to me? Again, maybe your fucking city just sucks. No one wants to live in Albuquerque. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Just throwing out a bunch of cities that we're just losing listeners left and right for
Yeah,
the strength.
fuck them.
Fuck them. Fuck you and your fucking whatever plant, whatever corn crop you grow. It probably doesn't taste good. If you got anything else, that about wraps up 123 for
Yeah,
me.
I had one little interesting stat I just saw on fucking Jimmy G, and everybody was wondering, oh, Jimmy G comes into the game yesterday. Trey Lance snaps his leg, and I don't know if you guys noticed it, but Jimmy G had the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. Probably,
Damn.
got a good standing ovation. He's back. He's got the starting job again. Obviously, you're never happy when a teammate goes down like Trey Lance did, but now I'm sort of understanding why Jimmy Garoppolo had that big smile on his face. Jimmy Garoppolo is slated to earn $250,000 for every game he plays at least 25% of the offensive snaps, where
There
that's
you
going to be
go. I
every
was
single game.
I was wondering
Uh,
that too, because they just said like, oh, he restructured his contract, and somebody was like, oh, this kind of sucks for him. He's gonna have to go in there and play, and they just gave him less money. I'm pretty sure they
yeah.
probably worked this out in some sort of bonus,
Oh,
or they're
for
just
sure.
gonna, yeah, completely rehaul it and give him back the original. They're gonna have to. They just
Yeah.
it wouldn't
So
just wouldn't sit right. He wouldn't play.
So basically, he's going to be making $250,000 every single game as long as he starts and plays 25% of the offensive snaps, which he will. Quarterbacks play every fucking snap,
Yeah.
unless you get hurt. Plus an extra $100,000 for every game the 49ers win. So he has a possibility of making a lot of fucking money this year with the
It would be
49ers.
so petty if they just come out and say, all right, guys, we're running the Wildcat. there goes
Oh,
there goes Garoppolo's bonuses. There
yeah, it
goes
would be
any chance of him
shitty.
making any money this year. Yeah, and then it's just the fucking Jeff Wilson Jr., the other running back show the rest of
Debo's
the
the
way.
starting
Yeah.
quarterback from now on.
Debo leads gonna lead the league with 19 passing touchdowns halfway through the season or something like that, with also having 19 receiving and rushing touchdowns or something ridiculous. That's fun. That's a fun thing to think about. But yeah, no, good for him. If he's gonna be guided the rest of the way out, which, like you said, that's gonna be the thing with Trey Lance out for sure and definitely the rest of the year. Makes sense. Good for him. He's gonna get his money. Gonna get his bag. Yeah. Again. Yeah. Good shit eating green. Yeah. Good observation on his shit eating grin. I can't say that word. I can't speak right now. Good way to end it though. Again, if you had anything left, thank you for everyone listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube, subscribing, doing all that. Share us around, all that fun stuff. Points bet, go to SYS9 if you're 21 and older. You live in Illinois, Iowa, New Jersey, and New York. That's where you can qualify for the offer. Go ahead and do that. SYS9 helps us out, helps you out as well. Geez Louise, yeah, we'll be back Wednesday for previewing Bears Texans week 3, and then whatever other games we like, best bets, underdog plays, anything else to fucking pay attention to. That's gonna be Wednesday/Thursday show. Without further ado, I say I'm good. Take care. Woo. Have anything else, Bill? Woo.
Yeah, we'll fucking see you guys next week, and go Bears as always.
Go Bears.